Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Angie and it's nice to have you guys here. So for today's video, I've put my cap back on, I've put my hood back on. I'm not going to put the gown back on because that thing is hot. Polyester, velvet, not good. And I've got my diploma folder. It's empty because they mail you the diploma afterwards, so they just give you a blank folder. Anyway, I thought I would take a little bit of time to kind of relive graduation and do a graduation themed what's in my bag. So this is the little bag that I took with me to graduation, and I had one friend that I reached out to who had walked in graduation the year before to kind of ask her, what's it like? What should I bring? She had been able to see her family before graduation, and so she just kind of took her cell phone out and then gave the rest of her bag to her family. I knew that wasn't going to be an option for me. I was kind of on my own with the whole handbag situation. So I thought I would walk you guys through what I brought with me, the kind of graduation day survival kit that I put together for myself. Maybe this will help other graduates in the future. I know some people are still heading into graduation week, so this might be just in time to help some of you. If not, if you are about to enter your final year, you can bookmark this for future reference. Before we get started though, I'm gonna take this off because it's hot. For a PhD graduation, you get this fun hat, and our hoods are bigger and longer. So this is my hood. It's got my colors in the back. And then this is, I think, the college color. I'm refilming this because the first time I filmed it, I actually filmed this on graduation day, and then it was blurry when I went to edit it. So I'm refilming it. So it's not exactly how it was, but it's pretty close. So the bag that I used was just this clear kind of toiletry train case bag. My graduation was being held in Wells Fargo Arena on Arizona State University campus. They were employing a clear bag policy the same way that NFL and college games use. So my mom and I were frantically, and of course I was so busy with other things, I didn't notice this until literally like the Friday before the Monday graduation. So it was a little late to have something shipped. We were going around to some stores around town just trying to find a clear bag. Online was showing that some stores had it. We went to those stores, they didn't have it. Thankfully, one of the guys at one of those stores said, why don't you try the Container Store? And since that's right next door to Whole Foods where we do our grocery shopping, we popped in, and sure enough, we found two of these. So my mom got one and I got one. It ended up being a bit of a non-issue for me. Graduates had no security. We just walked in, no one was checking our bags. It was a bit odd. Like, why make the guests go through so much security when as long as it seemed like you were wearing a cap and gown, you were able to just waltz right in? Not quite sure what that says. But yeah, so I could have brought a regular small handbag, but I actually kind of liked this. It worked out. I wasn't sure what the inside situation was going to be. Would there be someone to kind of keep an eye on my bag when I went up on stage? It turned out for the PhD students there was, because we were sitting with the people who were doing the hooding. So my mentor was sitting right next to me. And so when I went up on stage, I just put my cell phone back in here, put this under my seat, and went up on stage, and it was fine. For the master's students at the ceremony, so my ceremony was graduate students only. They split off graduate commencement from undergraduate commencement, which was a really good idea. And so the master's students were seated in the lower tiers of the arena seating. PhD students were seated in chairs on the floor. And the master's students were all just kind of sitting together, so like their whole row got up and then walked out. So you kind of came back to your seat by row, but if you left something at your seat, it didn't mean that like it'd be just no one would be around. And if your row got slightly out of order or something. So I wasn't sure what the seating situation was going to be, and I wasn't sure if I'd feel comfortable leaving a nicer handbag or leaving expensive items just at my seat. So I actually, in this bag, kind of split things off a bit. Inside, I had this cell phone case, which I also could have clipped my keys to. So if I was really worried about security issues, I could have taken just this and my keys up on stage with me. And then inside, I haven't put my phone in here for the sake of the video, but my phone was on this side, and then I had my driver's license and my credit card and some cash stuck in here. So that was like this package then with the cards and cash and the phone and my keys were the only things of real value. So I could have just gone up with just this kind of slightly up my sleeve and it would have been fine. And then if everything else left in this bag got stolen or lost or whatever, the contents would have been annoying to lose, but it wouldn't have been like losing a credit card or my car keys or something like that. So inside, the rest of this bag is my kind of survival kit for graduation day. So in no particular order, I'm just going to kind of go through these as they want to come out. Tissue, because it's kind of an emotional thing. I did get a bit teary-eyed a couple of times. I had a water bottle. Now, if you live in a colder state where May graduation time is still early spring for you, you might not need this. It was 90-something degrees on graduation day. I think it got up to 100-something. When I was arriving, it was, I think, 90. And when I left, I think it was probably like 98. It hadn't yet gotten up as high as it was going to, but it was still really warm. So I wanted to have a small bottle of water. And then also I brought a Kind bar just in case I got hungry. I did get hungry. I almost cracked into this while the master's students were having their names read out, but I figured we had to be getting close to the end. They had said it was supposed to only last 2 hours. It had been going for like an hour and a half. So I waited a little bit longer and it was done, but I kind of wish I had eaten this just before going into the graduation ceremony. I had only had another one of these on the car ride down. So if you're too nervous like I was, or just too excited, whatever, to eat a proper breakfast before graduation, make sure you bring some kind of granola bar, protein bar, something like that, just as a snack so that you're not completely dying. I had my headphones with me just in case I ended up with some time to kill. I didn't, but I never really go anywhere without my headphones because they're like my security blanket. If I get anxious, I like to put on music. I had my sunglasses for after the ceremony and for driving down and walking around outside because again, Arizona summer has arrived. It's hot, it's sunny, even early in the morning. We all were arriving to check in around 7:30 and it was definitely hot, sunny at that point. I always have my Lactaid with me because I knew we were going to go out to lunch afterwards. Didn't know what we'd have. I had my stomach medicine with me. I did end up taking one of those while I was waiting, and then because my stomach was starting to feel a little bit uneasy. And then I had my little, it's a contact lens case, but I keep some single doses of different medications, so like Excedrin, Tylenol, that sort of thing. So I had that with me. Did use some of these, but I brought a little hair tie with, I had several bobby pins, and I did use a bunch of them before and after graduation because of the hairstyle I had. Just some curls were coming loose, so I had the extra bobby pins to tuck them back up. And I also had some extra safety pins. This is a really good idea to bring. Bring several extras because you could make some friends by being able to share your safety pins. I had been a little worried about the back of my dress. The hook and eye just wasn't quite, it seemed like it was hanging on and coming loose, and so just in case that opened up, I wanted to be able to safety pin the top bit of my dress. But the other reason, the main reason I brought these was because your hood, pretty much all of the hoods come, you can see my little safety pin there, come with this little loop. If you are wearing a shirt with buttons, it's great because when you put this on, you can then run this little loop down under your gown and hook it to one of your buttons. If you're wearing a top with no buttons, or if you're wearing a dress like I was, you won't have anything to clip this to. So what I ended up doing was kind of ignoring the loop, and I stuck a safety pin at the top of the inside of the hood. And then I attached that to the top of the zipper of the gown. And so that kept it pretty much in place. The rest of your hood is going to slide around and you're going to have to keep adjusting it to keep it kind of about like this where you want it, because there's nothing, the opening of the hood is so wide it will come down on your shoulders. But if you can safety pin it to the top of your gown or the top of your shirt, if you're wearing a t-shirt underneath, which would have been a really smart idea as hot as it was, then the safety pin trick to the gown is a really good idea. Other gown and like survival kit, I brought a static solution, and this is a nicer one that I got at the Container Store. So a little bit more natural. It's just deionized water, essential oils, and fragrance. It works on all fabrics and it works on hair too. So I thought this would be nice so that after I took my cap off, if my hair needed some help, this could do double duty. I brought hand sanitizer. I brought a pen because we were given a card and we had to write our permanent email address on that card for picture purposes. So always have a pen, you never know when you need it. And then I brought contact lens solution because I was wearing my contacts that day. Oh, and I had some hand cream. So in terms of cosmetics, makeup, that sort of thing, I brought my Soap & Glory One Heck of a Blot translucent powder. It's a mattifying powder, so again, if I was getting really shiny, I did put some of this on right before the ceremony started so that when I got up and had my pictures taken as I was going across the stage, I'd not look like a shiny mess. Had my little retractable kabuki brush with that. I brought, and I did use a ton of this in the car afterwards because I was so hot, my Caudalie Eau de Beauté Beauty Elixir. I think facial sprays in general would be a really good thing to bring with you for graduation. Anything that can help cool you down, because again, even if you're not in a really warm weather state, the cap, the gown, the hood, whatever you're wearing underneath, it's a lot of layers. You do spend a fair amount of time in them. You're probably going to get a bit hot. So anything like this that can help cool you down. Evian does a really great, cheaper alternative to the Caudalie one, but also just a basic bottle of rose water that you can get at Whole Foods for like $7. Really good idea. I also, if I was spending a lot of time outside, I had my makeup setting spray by Kula. This one has SPF 30 mixed into it, so this is what I set my makeup with before I left the house, and then if I wanted to top that up, I figured this would be a good one to use. Also for cooling purposes, I had my little mini of the Milk Makeup cooling water stick. This is just really nice, can instantly help cool me down. So, and because heat is one of the things that aggravates my fibromyalgia, I probably went a little overboard on cooling products. So I think for the average person, you don't need two separate facial sprays and something like the Milk Makeup stick. One of those for the average person would be fine. But being overheated is one of the things that really makes me feel ill and can cause a lot of problems for me. So it's something that I'm kind of paranoid about, and I always kind of overpack for that. I brought my Autograph Illuminating Touch Under Eye Concealer in case my under eyes needed a bit of brightening. For my lip color, I wanted something that would give me a little bit of color, but that I could apply without a mirror if I needed, and that would be just more of a gloss with a hint of color. So I used my Sephora Collection Color Adapt Gloss. It just gives, it kind of works with the pH in your lips and adjusts to your kind of perfect shade of pink. So it's just a very nice natural pink for me, very glossy, but very hydrating, very comfortable. I could wear this throughout graduation and didn't feel like I was worried about what my lipstick was doing. I had put on my Jo Malone Peony and Blush Suede perfume, but I brought with me the Stella McCartney Stella Peony Rollerball because that complements the Jo Malone one really well, and this one's just a little bit smaller and more travel friendly. And then I brought, as always, my EOS Vanilla Lip Balm, just so that if I ended up taking off the Sephora Collection gloss, I could have that lip balm. And that is what I did when I got back to my car at the end of the ceremony. I just wanted the gloss off and just regular lip balm on. So yeah, that's essentially, I'm not putting everything back in, but that's pretty much what was in here. Graduation went really well. It was a lot of fun. It was really cool. I'm not sure I would want to relive it because it was exhausting and we were all kind of packed in there. The chairs for the PhD students were just really crammed in, so we were all like right next to each other, and for 2 hours sitting in that kind of confined quarters was a little uncomfortable, but it was a really great moment when I got my hood. I was so grateful that my professor, Maureen, was able to be there and do the hooding for me. It meant so much because she's been a part of this grad school journey for the last 7 years, the 5 years of my PhD, as well as the 2 years prior to that of the master's degree that I did here. So it just was really important that she be the one to do the hooding, because she's the one who's been on the entire journey with me. When it was time for the hooding, everyone got hooded at the same time. So all of the PhD students and all of their mentors stood up and did the hooding at the same time. So it's just a lot of kind of chaos. And I just remember her, you know, putting the hood on over me, standing back up and turning around, because I had to kind of crouch down a little bit, standing back up and turning around, and she just gave me a giant hug. And yeah, it was pretty special. And then going up on stage to get my diploma folder, even though there's nothing in it right now, it was still really cool to go up and get this and to get my picture taken. Take your picture a few times. So they took one at the bottom of the ramp as we were about to walk up. They took one at the top of the ramp against a kind of a step and repeat board with the ASU logo on it, with us holding our diploma folder. And then we went up the rest of the ramp and handed our card over with our name to the announcer. And then depending on what side of the stage you were on, you got your picture taken as you were shaking hands with, it was the president. That's who I shook hands with, President Crow. And I think the other side of the stage, it was like the provost or something like that. And then you went back down and took your seat again. And it was kind of an out-of-body experience. I was really glad that my mom was vlogging. I will have linked that vlog up above, either at the beginning of this video or I'll do it now. But if you click on the little I button in the top, it should be linked up there. I was glad my mom had been vlogging. So she was vlogging from up at the top of the arena, and I was doing a little bit of vlogging on the floor with my iPhone. But I was glad that she was vlogging as they called my name and as I got my, you know, shook hands with the president, because that was a complete blur, out-of-body experience. I don't remember any of that at all. So I think that about wraps that video up. Did you graduate this spring? If so, congratulations. If you are about to graduate and haven't walked in your ceremony yet, I hope you have the most incredible time. Try to stay focused on the present moment, but I will admit it is kind of an out-of-body experience, so it's just there's a lot. It's just a lot to process. But I hope you have a wonderful time. If you are graduating coming up in the next year or so, just keep doing it. You will get there. There is an end to it all. Graduation does exist. It's not a myth. You will get there. I hope you've enjoyed this video. This was kind of not really a serious what's in my bag. You know, I wanted to have a bit of fun with this because, again, it's kind of a very niche audience in terms of who would actually need a graduation bag. I just thought this would be fun. So I hope you enjoyed it, whether you're graduating or not. I will see you all soon in the next video. Thank you very much for watching this one. Bye-bye.